Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Good evening. Presenting the Haneul dance group from Rutgers University-Newark. Enjoy.
Just come outside for the night. Take your time, get your life. Jot it down.
One tour has been a powerful force in my journey as Fulbright student.
I went from just studying to actually living the culture.
I have learned and shared so much through their amazing programs.
Being able to go into New York City classrooms and share about Belize and my experience has been such a valid and very rewarding experience.
And at the same time, it has allowed me to learn about so many different countries, and it's just helped me understand how people live in the world.
One tours means leadership, connections, and global community.
Take part in different interesting events that expose me to American culture.
Through volunteering, hiking, exploring cuisines, professional workshops, and even celebrating Thanksgiving with a host family.
This is definitely not something that I would have been able to do without One to World, so I am very grateful to have been given this opportunity.
I found a community that helped me grow and feel at home.
And that impact stays with me for life.
First, we may have missed them, but just one more round of applause for our dancers would be great. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2026 One to World Fulbright Awards dinner. I'm Creighton Condon. I'm the chair of the board of One to World and one of the co-chairs of this event. And this evening, we're very proud to be honoring three outstanding honorees for this gala. Stephanie Benedetto, William Gertz, and Nina Tandon. You'll be hearing more about and from them as the evening progresses, and it's a privilege to have them with us this evening and to shine a light on the incredible work that they do. We also have a number of past honorees who are joining us this evening. Welcome back. It's great to have you here for the prestigious honoree circle. And I also want to thank my fellow co-chairs for this evening for their hard work in making tonight a success. Kara Barnett, Managing Director at General Atlantic and head of the General Atlantic Foundation. Bradley Ben, a partner and Managing Director at Russell Reynolds and fellow Director of One to World. Francis Bronnett, President of Pratt University, representing a core constituency of One to World. Miriam Osman, Managing Director and COO of the Global Investment Operations at BlackRock. And Aaron Shaploff, partner at Davis Polk and also a fellow director of One to World. And thank you all for your contributions and efforts this year. We'd also like to give special recognition to our member colleges. And for those of you who aren't aware of the history of One to World, it originates as a member organization and continues as such. The members saw a need, the universities in the New York area, for the types of services that we provide to international students, and actually founded the organization almost 50 years ago. I'd love to thank you all for being here tonight. They're always a big part of the turnout at this event. Before I go into a couple of other topics, I would like to have our staff who are here stand up and wave. They're the heart and soul of the organization. So we have an exciting evening planned, starting with our dancers and then with a number of other speakers and so on. We have a silent auction underway, and I would encourage you all to go on the site and bid on those restaurant packages and trips and so on. The bidding ends at 8:45, so the sooner the better. My personal favorite would be the Yankees-Red Sox at the fabled Fenway Park with my beloved Red Sox late in June. So I'm just putting that out there if you're interested in that event. Throughout the evening, you get to hear about our honorees. You'll also hear inspiring stories from our participants, from one of our 7th grade global classroom students to our Fulbright grantees, and the international student community which we serve. It is my hope that all of these stories remind you tonight of the power of One to World's work, especially in moments like these. There's no doubt that the world is fraught with tension and disagreements right now. But when I look around the room and I speak to you as you are coming in tonight, I'm reminded of something else, that when people of all different backgrounds come together in celebration of friendship and unity and a common purpose, we're actively shaping a better, more peaceful future, and that is at the core of what we do at One to World. So thank you again for being here this evening, and join me now in welcoming back to the stage our Executive Director, Deepesh Dhingra.
Thank you, Creighton. And thank you to the Haneul dance group from Rutgers University-Newark for that extraordinary performance. What a powerful way to begin our evening together. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I want to begin with a question. What does global exchange mean to you? What does it mean? Not as a concept, not as a program, not as a line in a mission statement, but as a human experience. When was the last time you truly connected with someone whose life, language, culture, and perspective was different, entirely different from your own, and you left changed because of it? I challenge you all to think about it tonight and share it with someone new. If you can find someone new in the room tonight and share that experience, that'll be wonderful. Because that feeling, the moment of connection, understanding, curiosity, friendship, is why we are here. So, before I continue, for those of us who have joined us before, you know we have a tradition here at One to World, and tonight it feels more meaningful than ever. So I'm going to ask some of you to stand, if you're able, and please remain standing. So first, would all current Fulbright students and scholars please stand and remain standing? And now, would all Fulbright alumni in the room please stand and remain standing? And finally, whether or not you're a Fulbrighter, would everyone in this room who has ever studied abroad, worked abroad, or lived abroad, and dare I say visited abroad, please stand and remain standing? Look around this room. Look at everyone who's standing in this room. Tonight we're surrounded by dozens of countries, countless stories, beautiful languages, and extraordinary lived experiences. This room represents something increasingly rare and increasingly necessary: people choosing connection over division. This is what One to World does. Thank you, everybody. For nearly 50 years, we have brought together people not simply across borders, but across fear, misunderstanding, and difference. Welcome to the 2026 Fulbright Awards dinner. Thank you, everybody. You may be seated. We are so glad you're here. Truly. Tonight, we're also honored to recognize 3 extraordinary individuals whose leadership, commitment, embody the true spirit of global understanding. Stephanie, Bill, and Nina, thank you so much for your generosity, your partnership, and your belief in this mission. It is truly an honor to celebrate you tonight. And to our incredible co-chairs, Creighton, Miriam, Brad, Francis, Aaron, and Kara, thank you for the passion and dedication and the heart that you've poured into this evening and into One to World itself. As I stand here tonight, I have to acknowledge something honestly. The world feels different than it did even a year ago. There are moments lately when I barely recognize the tone of global conversation around us. We're living through a time where division feels louder, fear feels easier, anger feels common, and where people are too often encouraged to retreat from one another instead of toward one another. Last year, I spoke about the human need of belonging. This year, I want to take that idea one step further. I believe that every human being has the right to feel welcome, has the right to feel valued, has the right to feel connected, and yes, has the right to feel loved. A few weeks ago, astronaut Christina Koch, as part of the Artemis II mission, said something that deeply stayed with me. Planet Earth, you are a crew. Planet Earth, you are a crew. As an engineer, I've always been fascinated by space, by its mystery, its scale, its unpredictability. But what moved me the most about that mission was not how the astronauts described outer space, it's how they described us. After traveling further than humans have ever gone, they turned back towards Earth, and what they saw was not separation. They saw one home, one people, one shared future, one crew. And maybe that perspective is exactly what we need right now, because today our world can feel fractured, countries divided, communities polarized, human beings isolated from one another. But One to World exists to remind us that our differences are not threats to fear, but they're opportunities to learn, to grow, and to build something stronger together. For almost 50 years, this organization has helped international students like me arrive in this country and feel something essential. They are not alone, they belong here, and that America is still a place where people from every corner of the world can come together in curiosity, friendship, and mutual respect. And that work has never mattered more than it does right now. To the international students and scholars in this room tonight, you are valued, you are supported, and you belong. To the universities and schools that are represented here tonight, thank you for defending education, opportunity, and global learning at a time when those ideals must continue to be protected and strengthened. To the corporations and the business leaders in this room, you understand better than anyone that global understanding is not just optional, it is essential to innovation, to leadership, and to the future of our economy. To the foundations, nonprofits, donors, and longtime supporters that are here tonight, please know this, that your support does far more than just fun programs. It creates human connection. It creates confidence, it creates opportunity, and sometimes it even changes the entire trajectory of a young person's life. Trust me, I know. And to everyone in this room, every single person, thank you for choosing to believe in something bigger than yourselves, because tonight is not just a celebration, it's a declaration. A declaration that global exchange still matters, that cultural understanding still matters, and that empathy still matters. And then in a world increasingly telling people to fear what is different, we will continue to choose connection. Next year, One to World celebrates its 50th anniversary. 50 years. 50 years of bringing together the world. 50 years of building friendships that cross borders. 50 years of proving that when people truly meet and talk to one another, the world becomes stronger, safer, and compassionate. And we're just getting started, because the work ahead of us is enormous. We will continue to support students and scholars. We will continue to strengthen universities and educational access. We will continue expanding opportunities for young professionals through our growing J1 program. We will continue fighting for the belief that global understanding is not just a luxury, it is a necessity. So tonight, as you reflect on those moments of global exchange, the conversations, friendships, journeys, and experiences that change you, I ask you to help us create even more of those moments for the next generation. Because the future of this work depends on all of us. And because the world needs organizations like One to World now more than ever. Thank you for believing in this mission. Thank you for believing in one another. And thank you for being part of this incredible community. It is now my honor to introduce our first extraordinary change maker of this evening, Stephen Sangster, Fulbright Scholar from Belize, from Brooklyn College.
Thank you, Deepesh. It's kind of hard to follow those tough acts at the beginning. I hope it's not downhill from here. But I appreciate the honor to be here tonight. So good evening, everyone. It is a true honor to be here tonight. My name is Stephen, and I'm a Fulbright Scholar from Belize, but I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago, hence the accent. I have always considered myself an educational nomad. My first adventure was at 12 when my parents decided to pursue their education at Lincoln University in Oxford, Pennsylvania, and brought my 3 brothers and me along with them. I spent my middle and high school years sitting in on my parents' classes and hanging out at the university. I experienced something few kids do, seeing my parents go through college. When my time came to choose a university, the decision was simple. I went back to Lincoln, where I had grown up. I empathized with the international students who were experiencing American culture for the first time. So I made it my goal to make them feel at home as I had felt. I would take them to dinners, church, and walks through the community. After I graduated, I went back to Belize and became a chemistry and math teacher at a high school and community college. My students truly inspired me every day for 8 years. And I realized that I also wanted to inspire them to dream bigger and imagine new possibilities for their lives. For students in Belize, it is not common to study abroad, or in some cases, to even leave their hometowns. I wanted to show them it was possible. So I applied to a chemistry graduate program at the University of Florida and guided them through their own college application processes. One of my biggest joys was to see a high school student of mine get a full ride scholarship to study at the University of South Florida, go Bulls, and go on to become an engineer. Besides education, my other passion in life is the environment. Growing up in Trinidad and Tobago, days would be filled with walks to the beach, collecting shells, and going to the coral reef. The sea was my place of serenity, my safe place. Seeing the damage that we have done to our oceans was something I could not stand, and I needed to do something to protect my home and my community. This passion has driven me to collaborate with the International Atomic Energy Agency, where I'm the Belize representative, providing data on microplastics in the ocean, as well as chairing the Chemical Review Committee, composed of 31 countries evaluating the impact of pesticides and chemicals around the globe. I believe that in order for research to really have an impact, we need to include both the present and future generations. That is why, as part of my Fulbright research, I aim to engage young people in data collection, participating in field trips, and learning to use equipment so they are exposed to real-world applications of science. An important part of the Fulbright experience is to engage in your community. And that is exactly what One to World helped me do, and what I wish my international friends back at Lincoln University had. Being part of One to World means getting to engage with locals and immerse in the non-touristy side of the city. For me, it has also meant becoming part of the global classroom program and sharing with young students what I do and where I'm from, while also learning from them and their experiences. And the common phrase was, "You better believe it." This program has allowed me to see firsthand the power of when kids' faces light up at the start of a global classroom lesson and see the different examples of plastics and the ocean that we have in Belize. I am a testament to the many doors that open when venturing abroad. I want to inspire young people to think about their local borders, think beyond their local borders and beyond the status quo. I aim to be that person who empowers their purpose and inspires change. Imagine my delight when I was blessed with the opportunity to introduce tonight someone who shares my values and passions, and my wife's passion for K-pop as well, for inspiring change and making our world more sustainable. Tonight's first honoree, Stephanie Benedetto, is inspiring people, companies, and entire industries to change how they do business. Her company, Aloqia, uses AI and other advanced technology to streamline global supply chains and transform companies' excess inventory waste into assets. They do this by analyzing, valuing, and managing excess inventory for companies, and by acting as a global network for both buyers and sellers, connecting those who need inventory with those who have too much. The result? More efficiently used resources, less waste across the entire stream, money saved, and a healthier planet. When Stephanie speaks about her work, you can't help but be inspired. Her passion is infectious. Seeing it in person, it's true. She recognizes that sustainability is not a sacrifice, that it is, as she says, one of the biggest opportunities, business opportunities of our time. She is guided by the principle that waste is not waste until it is wasted. The seeds of this were planted early on. Stephanie grew up close to her great-grandfather, who came to the U.S. from Austria in 1896. He settled on the Lower East Side in New York City. He began making clothes from nothing but the clothes and furs people brought with them from Europe that they no longer needed. He took the few resources at his disposal and turned them into beautiful garments. His business flourished, and he never abandoned that resourcefulness. And Stephanie never forgot the lessons he imparted. After starting her career as an attorney on Wall Street, she set off on her own. She co-founded her first company, a sustainable textile manufacturing facility, and was struck by the amount of stock just languishing in factories, waiting to be sent to the landfill. So ever the entrepreneur, she launched another company with the mission to get unused fabrics back into the supply chain. This evolved into Aloqia. In recognition that avoidable excess and inefficiency are features of nearly every industry across the globe, not just fashion. It will probably not surprise you to learn that one of Stephanie's guiding values in her life is taking action. I'm inspired by her commitment to actually doing something about the problems she sees in the world. She is not afraid to try something new, to travel a path that doesn't yet exist, and the world is better off for it. It is my great pleasure to present the One to World Fulbright Award for Global Entrepreneurship and Innovation to Stephanie Benedetto. Let's give her a hand.
Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much, Stephen, for those incredible words and for the honor to be here this evening. As you heard a little bit about my personal journey, my story didn't start in a boardroom or in a law firm, although I did end up in both those places. It did start in 1896 on that ship to Austria with my great-grandfather, Pappy. When I grew up around him, he lived to a beautiful age of 104. I would hear the stories of the old school ways of doing business. You find materials and supplies nearby, you repurpose things by hand with minimal waste, and you sell to local customers. And that was an incredibly profitable, successful business. They didn't talk about it as sustainability or circular economy, but at the end of the day, that's very much what it was. And key is that it made sense for people, for planet, but also for a profit. Tonight, I am wearing my wedding dress repurposed. When I married my husband, Josh, I had to be on brand. I did not do the family route. I did end up on Wall Street as a corporate attorney. But when the market crashed in 08 and 09, I saw the world change. I realized, seeing on Wall Street the height of their waste and greed and excess, some ways similar to what's going on in the world today, things seemed broken. And I would go to these warehouses and factories and mills around in the world and see all this perfectly good stuff just sitting there waiting to be burned or landfill. And that didn't make sense. It was $2 trillion worth of stuff a year. Every time we burn fabric in inventory, we're not just wasting that stuff. We're wasting the billions of gallons of water it took to make it. We're wasting the energy of the people who made this in the supply chain. And we're wasting the future of the planet. And that's my why. I'm doing this for my children. Jacob and Jeremy, they're 10 and 6. And I think every day with my husband Josh about the planet that we are leaving them. I want them to have clean water to drink, clothes that aren't toxic to wear, and a planet to live on. They are my why, and I tell myself why I'm not stopping doing what I do. So this brings me to why we're here tonight. At Aloqia, we do, as Stephen eloquently put it, you can do my pitch for me any day, we're tracking supply chains around the world. But all that AI and blockchain and technology, those are the tools. The real work happens with the people across borders in the supply chains trust each other and are willing to cooperate across our exchange. You can't solve a global waste crisis sitting behind a desk in New York. You have to understand the hundreds of steps across the globe and all the people involved, invited to speak their languages, understand their challenges, and work together for opportunity. And I believe in all the experience I've had with One2World and Fulbright, that's the magic. You all are building the human infrastructure that my business and every business depend on globally. You're creating global citizens who realize that a person in a different country, they're not a competitor, they're not just a resource, they're a trusted friend and partner. So in closing tonight, we aren't just celebrating awards. To me, we're celebrating the strips of Pappy's cloth that connect all of us. Whether you're a student here exploring a new culture and a new experience, or an entrepreneur trying to disrupt an entire industry with a bold vision, you are part of this global tapestry. So when we exchange ideas, when we study abroad, when we look past our own borders, we stop seeing waste as waste and start seeing it as wealth and opportunity. To the scholars here tonight, you are the new immigrants in ideas. You'll take these scraps of broken systems and sew them into something beautiful. Thank you for this honor. Let's build a world that our children can be proud of. Don't be afraid. Go build great things, make a difference, and change the world. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here with you all tonight. My name is Marisa Silva. Some of you might know me. I'm the Senior Director of Membership and Programs at One2World. For those of you who might be new to our community, I'd like to take a moment to share a bit about who we are, because One2World is, at its heart, a membership organization. We were founded by individuals at our member institutions almost 50 years ago, as Deepesh mentioned, which is crazy to think about. And everything we do continues to be shaped by them. Our members are primarily colleges and universities, not exclusively, but primarily, and more specifically, the international student and scholar offices that work every day to support global education and exchange. These are the teams on the front lines, welcoming students from around the world, helping them navigate new environments, and fostering meaningful cross-cultural connections. Quite simply, One2World would not exist as it does today without our members. Their partnership, their insight, and their commitment are what allow us to grow, to innovate, and to serve thousands of international students, scholars, and other exchange participants each year. I'd like to take a moment to recognize specifically and thank the members who are here with us tonight. No need to, you can maybe like clap if you'd like. When I say them, the schools. So we have Baruch College here. Borough of Manhattan Community College is here. College of Staten Island. Columbia University. FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology. Oh, big group over there. Fordham University. Goldstein and Chung. Hunter College. Kane University. LIM College. New York University. Pratt Institute. Seton Hall University. Stevens Institute of Technology. Teachers College. And lastly, World Education Services. Love that. Your presence means so much, not only to us as an organization, but to the broader community we serve. You are essential to this work, and we're deeply grateful for your continued collaboration and support. Any institutions in the room that are interested in joining our community, we are always happy to welcome new members. In fact, we encourage it. On a personal note, I've had the privilege, truly it's been a privilege, of being part of One to World since early 2017. Long time. Over the years, I've had a front row seat to the organization's growth and evolution. I've seen how we've adapted to changing times, expanded our programs, and deepened our impact, all while staying true to our mission of fostering global understanding. What has remained constant throughout that time is the strength of our community, the relationships we've built with our members, our partners, our participants, are what make this organization so special. Tonight is not only a celebration of that work, but also an opportunity to look ahead. With your continued partnership, we can keep building bridges across cultures, creating these meaningful experiences, and ensuring that international students and scholars feel welcomed, supported, and connected. Thank you so much for being part of this journey with us, and thank you for being here tonight. Now, please enjoy your dinner. It should be coming out shortly. I also encourage you to check out our silent auction. You'll be hearing about that a lot throughout the night, so please do scan that QR code just to take a look and see if anything's exciting. We'll be closing at 8:45 p.m. tonight. We'll be back soon with more inspiring stories. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. Please take your seats. Our program is about to continue. Good evening, everyone. Tēnā koutou katoa, taiga ho. Greetings to you all. My name is Chelsea Wong, and I am from Aotearoa, New Zealand. When people think of Aotearoa, they might think of nature, sheep, rugby, Lord of the Rings, Flight of the Conchords. These are all somewhat true, but what is less known is that it is also a place of increasing diaspora and cultural diversity. These days, my hometown, Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, is one of the most diverse cities in the world, with over 30% of its population identifying as Asian. But it wasn't always like this, not during my childhood. Growing up Chinese in Aotearoa, New Zealand, profoundly shaped my understanding of culture and the world. I was raised in a Cantonese-speaking family with Chinese culture and values by my Hong Kong immigrant parents. I understood from a very young age the importance of cross-cultural understanding, and my parents were the first global citizens who modeled that to me. Like many immigrant families, my parents wanted to give me every educational opportunity possible. So I started learning music at the age of 5, picked up piano at 6, and violin at 7. As we all know well in this room, education is a path that can open many doors. And for me, my music education didn't lead me to a career as a professional musician, but rather it taught me something much more: the ability to see the world creatively in a multi-lensed way, and the importance of connection, community, and empathy. Alongside my cross-cultural upbringing, music education is what reinforced to me the importance of creativity and culture in a civically engaged and thriving global society. I started my career at age 19, producing music education programs for Auckland Philharmonia Orchestra. Later, living in Pōneke, Wellington, the capital city, I joined the Arts Council of New Zealand, where I worked with Māori and Pacific arts leaders who are leading a cultural shift in Aotearoa, a crucial rethinking of how Aotearoa can have its foundation in Te Ao Māori, the Māori worldview, while also being inclusive, understanding, and interconnected with all cultures, including its many Asian communities. But despite Aotearoa's changing population over the years, I often still found myself being the only Asian perspective in the room. And I was faced with impossible questions. How do we make sense of a term so broad and expansive as Asian? And how could it possibly represent the breadth, the depth of histories, cultures, and perspectives within such a vast continent? All I knew at the time was, being from a small country of 5 million at the bottom of the Pacific, I had to look further beyond Aotearoa's borders for answers. I'm so fortunate to have been a recipient of a Fulbright New Zealand Graduate Award that has allowed me to come to the USA and study Asian diasporic culture and culture work from a global perspective, drawing on lessons of Asian American scholars and comparing experiences between the USA and Aotearoa. As we've already heard tonight, there is something incredibly powerful about being able to see things from a different perspective. And this is such a core part of international education, the Fulbright mission, and cultural exchange. One to World has been a champion of these values for nearly 50 years, and I'm deeply grateful to have been part of its programming during my time here. I've met and connected with other international students, even though we might be from totally different places or studying completely different things. Equally, one of my favorites has been the Dinner Diplomats program, having dinner at a local family's home or touring their favorite city spots. On one occasion, I was fortunate to be hosted by Fulbright alumni Carol Sterling for lunch at her home on the Upper West Side. Carol is an esteemed puppeteer, an arts educator, and was a close friend of the late Jim Henson, as in the founder of the Muppets. Seeing a photo of Carol with Mr. Henson and Kermit the Frog casually on the wall of her living room was a pinch-me moment, a reminder of the amazing creativity, talent, and stories within New York City. Every host I've encountered has always been so generous with their knowledge and passions, and also curious to learn more about our interests and cultures. We connect on shared values while also exchanging different perspectives on the world. I've dedicated my studies and career to weaving a different cultural perspective, and I hope to model a different way of seeing the world and culture and creativity. So I'm honored and excited tonight to introduce our next honoree, someone who has truly trailblazed her own path, making her mark on the world through combining different perspectives and forging a new path in science and technology. Nina Tandon is the co-founder and CEO of Epibone, a groundbreaking biotechnology company that uses a patient's own stem cells to grow personalized bone, cartilage, and joint tissue for skeletal reconstruction and regenerative medicine. Their technology has the potential to revolutionize the field of orthopedic surgery and help millions of people worldwide with longer-lasting and better-fitting parts that are grown by the patient themselves. From a young age, Nina was interested in science. She started her career as an electrical engineer, but felt unfulfilled, and she became captivated by the parallels between technology and biology and how those similarities might be used to improve people's lives. This led her to apply for a Fulbright to study artificial sensory systems in Italy, a place she had always been drawn to since traveling there in high school, and a place that gave her an uncanny and profound feeling that she belonged there. She calls her Fulbright a dream come true, opening her eyes to the world and forging a lifelong connection with the people and culture of Italy. Nina went to MIT to get her master's in bioelectrical engineering. Afterwards, she began working in a lab led by a former Fulbrighter who had come to the US from Yugoslavia years ago. Amazingly, there was another Fulbrighter in her lab and an Italian student visiting on a Fulbright, so the Fulbright connections are strong. Nina went on to earn her PhD in biomedical engineering at Columbia University, and it was here that she became passionate about tissue engineering as she worked on growing cardiac and other types of tissue. After her PhD, she worked at McKinsey for a bit, but soon realized that academia was where she could build the kind of deep tech startup she was interested in and make the most difference. She returned to Columbia to pursue an MBA in healthcare entrepreneurship, and then as a postdoctoral researcher, she and her co-founder incubated the company that would become Epibone, weaving together her background in engineering, biology, technology, an enterprising spirit and determination that it's possible to do things differently and ethically. Nina's work has been recognized by Forbes, the World Economic Forum, among many others, and today, in addition to leading Epibone, she is an active speaker on issues related to regenerative medicine, biotech entrepreneurship, and innovation in healthcare. Her TED Talk on personalized medicine has been viewed more than 1 million times. Nina is also a vocal advocate for diversity and inclusion in STEM fields. She is helping to pave the way for other women and women of color, so they too can change the way we see the world and innovate solutions where no one else has before. Tonight, it is my great honor to present the One to World Fulbright Award for Advancement of Global Healthcare to Nina Tandon.
blushing. Thank you. You know, there's so many things that others have said that it just really resonated with me tonight. You know, paths not taken. The year before I won my Fulbright was 2001. I had just turned down a job as a defense contractor. I was an electrical engineer. You might ask why. There was a sign behind the recruiter's desk that said, "First look, first kill." And I thought to myself, that's not me. And I ended up taking a different job, one that maybe also wasn't the right choice for me because it was a little bit more in the lab and kind of heads down. It was a job in telecom at the dawn of the dot-com era. I know I'm not alone in that. And we had a saying back then, the internet was making information cheap, and that made insight expensive. I applied to MIT at the same time that I applied for the Fulbright. I never thought that I might get both. And so I did cartwheels at Bell Labs, which is where I was working, at the office. That was not a thing that people did there. And, and at the same moment that I found out that I'd gotten into both, and my goodness, I had a difficult problem because I ended up deferring my graduate studies, I also realized I had, at that moment, started training for my first marathon because somewhere in the application process, I had promised, you know, God, the universe, or maybe more honestly, bargained with God and the universe, or whoever was listening, that if I got that Fulbright, I would run a marathon. My first marathon. I knew nothing. Jon Snow. So in Rome, which is where I did my Fulbright, running became how I learned the city. I jogged through neighborhoods, looking for an apartment, for a good coffee, for myself. My Italian friends took to calling me GPS, because I always seemed to know where things were. I had become a map. My research, you saw Giorgio choking me in that funny picture. I guess I was a pain in the booty. But my research was at the Forlanini Hospital. It was in an ornate building, an old hospital, but it was full of high-tech machinery. We were using a device that we were working on called the Libra-Nose, which was an array of sensors with a proto-AI system behind it as a kind of artificial nose. And we were using it for a really interesting application, which was to detect lung cancer non-invasively from a patient's breath. This was really inspiring to me. I'm half Indian. I grew up here in New York, actually just a stone's throw from here on Roosevelt Island. A bit of a world away, even though it's so close by the way the crow flies. So the idea that something from Ayurvedic medicine, that you could smell a patient's breath to deduce something about their internal health state, really spoke to me. Doctors for millennia have been smelling patients' breath as part of diagnosis. But in this case, it was hardware that was doing the sensing and software that did the analysis, just like in our bodies. There was a saying in Italian, tutto deve cambiare perché nulla cambi. Everything must change so that everything can stay the same. Rome taught me that every day. I'd pass the Pantheon. This ceiling reminds me of it. Its 2,000-year-old self with self-healing concrete still holding. There's microorganisms in that concrete, by the way. On my way to church, to a church that, one of my favorite churches was Santa Maria sopra Minerva. Does anyone know this church? It's a chapel to Mary, obviously a Christian Catholic saint, but it was built on top of a temple to Athena, who the Romans called Minerva. I also loved another church called San Callisto, which was which was built on top of a Mithraic shrine, Romanesque church, and so on. You see a theme here? It's a place that everything changed, and in a way, even though it didn't stay the same, our humanity endured. The city was like a layered organism that rewarded the persistent. I loved being able to find that special keyhole that you could see St. Peter's through perfectly, an unmarked dirt road that led to a Roman bath you could sneak into at night. And yeah, I trained for the marathon, occasionally. I bought an I Heart New York t-shirt to wear. That was step one. You always gotta, get your gear. I got a running skirt. I carbo-loaded on pasta because I was in the right place to do that. And on the race day, I got lost on the way to the start line. GPS. I missed the gun. And so I had to persuade the carabinieri to pry open a hole in the fence so I could start at all. Dead last. So far behind, I couldn't tell if I was even on the course. So I ran more than a marathon because I kind of got sidetracked by a 10K. And at one point, I stopped to ask a cop for directions, and he told me, "La maratona è finita." The marathon is over, you might have guessed. I remember saying back defiantly, "No, it is not, because I'm still running." hey, I was still running. I was like, I'm last. But, I started to catch up. People were throwing confetti down through the Baroque alleyways. I ran past every jewel of the city. I finished at the Roman Forum 2 hours before, the actual last place runner. I didn't finish dead last. But I can tell you, I have never been prouder to finish almost last in my life. I was a finisher. I finished the marathon. 20 years later, I look back at, your kind words, and I think this is really another marathon that I'm on. My co-founder and I started Epibone a dozen years ago, as you heard, and it's a company that's been built to grow human bones and cartilage from human cells. We all started out life, by the way, as one cell big, so we take the cells that grew our bodies in the first place and repair our bodies every day. Those are stem cells, and we use them as an ingredient to make living bone and cartilage. It's a simple idea, not simple in practice. The euphoria of those early years of the company, spinning out of Columbia during a period of, I would say, a little bit more economic abundance than we're experiencing now, was a bit heady, a bit euphoric. We built the science from nothing. We made history when the FDA in 2019 approved us to do the first in-human clinical trial using stem cells as an ingredient this way. We completed that first in-human clinical trial replacing jawbones in 6 patients who needed them for reasons ranging from trauma to congenital defect to degenerative jaw disease. We 3D printed bones that we had painstakingly designed based on their patient CT scans. That's like a 3D X-ray. So it was science fiction meeting reality. It was a true honor. And in 2023, we were greenlit by FDA, and again, historically, to begin a second human clinical trial, making a living partial knee replacement. And yet, this is when the biotech winter hit. This is when high inflation, high interest rates, boring things to scientists meant that we had trouble raising money. It didn't matter that we'd put veterans' jaws back together with bones we'd grown in the lab. The money ran out. We faced bankruptcy. I thought we'd lost everything. And then, improbably, miraculously, thank you, Noah, my husband, he's a crazy man, I love you. He said, let's move to Abu Dhabi. I think we can do this there. And I thank my Fulbright experience for making me realize, I said out loud, if there is a place on Earth, on our planet, where we can continue this work, we'll find it. And that's what brought us there. We'd narrowed it down to Singapore and Abu Dhabi. That's another story. So we found new life for the company in Abu Dhabi. Packed our suitcases. By then we had 2 kids. They're 7 and 5 now. And I remember walking Al Maria Island in Abu Dhabi every day, learning a new city again with my body, my embodied experience. And when I look back, so fast forward, we've turned things around. We have multiple Air Force contracts. We are launching in Florida. We have patients in Thailand. It is just, it's been a recovery. It's been a joy to witness this next stage that we're building. And so when I have a little bit of gratitude and a time and a moment to exhale, and thank you for this opportunity to reflect tonight, because what I'd like to say to that girl in Rome now, looking back, is, atta girl. You showed up, you got that carabinieri to cut the fence. You know, your words matched your actions. Your thoughts matched your body. At great pain, she exercised her free will, and she exercised it against challenge through her body, through her embodied experience. I loved those dancers earlier today. I can't say it enough. What we do, our bodies are smart. It's not just up here. Because here's the thing about that Italian saying, everything must change so everything can stay the same. The internet made information cheap and insight expensive. But the age of AI is making thinking cheap, which means something must be more expensive, right? Things like relationships, right, Deepesh? Trust, discernment, the things that move at the speed of a body in the room with another body. Those don't scale, and that's why they're going to matter the most, at least in my view. So that's what a Fulbright year builds. Not arguments, bodies in cities that are not theirs, scholars learning to be changed. Science is public service. Intellectual exchange is diplomacy. The slow, expensive, irreplaceable work of trust. So that girl and every Fulbrighter in the room, keep going, keep losing, keep finishing last, keep choosing, keep exercising your free will. And remember, the marathon really is just a trick to make you tour the city, to see its jewels, and to Noah and our kids, Una and Felix. Una meaning first in Latin, Felix, felice, happy in Latin, which is exactly what you make me feel. You are the reason I get to keep running. Thank you. And thank you, One to World, for keeping the faith. I am so proud tonight to be a Fulbrighter. You know, go knock 'em dead, guys. Thank you so much for this award. You know, it takes a village. We are the village. And I found your stories, you know, and the work of this organization just so inspiring. So thank you for this award. Thank you for all that you do. And let's be in our bodies, and let's fight AI by being embodied intelligence, organic intelligence. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm back again. My first time speaking, and I get to speak twice. I know, so exciting. All right, I promise to keep this brief, though. So many of you may remember that at last year's gala, we announced that One to World became a designated sponsor of the J1 Intern and Trainee Visa Program. Yeah, let's do it. It's great. It's a great thing. Tonight, I wanted to take a moment to bring that exciting initiative back into the spotlight. This program has been a natural and meaningful addition to our work in cross-cultural exchange. For years, we focused on creating connections through programs and community experiences, as you've heard about tonight. Now, we're also able to support exchange in the workplace, where ideas are shared, skills are developed, and global perspectives become part of everyday collaboration. Through the J1 Intern and Trainee Program, organizations here in the US can host talented students and young professionals from around the world. These are individuals who are not only gaining professional experience, but also contributing fresh perspectives and building lasting cross-cultural connection. And for those of you in the room, this is a wonderful opportunity to get more involved. Serving as a host organization is a very direct way to engage in international exchange by bringing global talent into your teams and participating in mutual learning in a hands-on way. I want to highlight one more way, though, that each of you as individuals can get involved. You can host students in your home for a dinner, like Chelsea was talking about earlier, our Dinner Diplomats program, or even invite students to share a holiday with you and your family. Chelsea shared that. I got ahead of myself a little bit there. But many of the students that are in the room have participated in this program. Our hosts are some of the people who have been involved in this program for decades, and they talk about how meaningful it is to open their homes like this. There are host cards on your tables where you can sign up to learn more, or you can email me at info@one2world.org, whichever you prefer. I'd also be happy to connect after the program and continue the conversation then. All right, we will now take a brief break for some dessert and coffee, and we'll return soon. Another reminder for you to check out our silent auction. Lots of exciting things there to splurge on, a lot of trips. I definitely want to do the Tuscany one, if anyone wants to buy that for me. That will be closing at 8:45 tonight. So please take a look there before we wrap up, and thank you again.
If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Everyone, please take your seats. Your class is about to begin. Everyone, please take your seats. Your global classroom workshop is about to begin. Slow down a bit. Today, I have the privilege to be your global guide. My name is Yasin Hasanpoor, and I'm doing my PhD in mechanical engineering at Stevens Institute of Technology. I grew up in a small mountain village in Kurdistan province in Iran. My childhood and teenage years were filled with nature. My grandparents would take me with them to their farm, and my family and I would hike to the mountain every weekend. Come spring and summer, we would go out and pick wild vegetables and flowers, and we cooked delicious foods with them because we believe that these are gifts from nature. My life was simple and peaceful. Being Kurdish, I grew up with a huge value of family and community, and the importance of giving back to our region. That I really treasure that. However, it was not usual for people within my community to venture beyond our region or think about other cultures. Until civilization class in my high school, I didn't know really much about other places. Reading about other cultures and civilizations made me think about how social roles and habits were deeply connected to history and geography. That moment sparked in me a desire to explore the world. Years after I was able to fulfill that dream in the famously called Land of Freedom. And perhaps that's why I'm feeling more comfortable in the US when I'm talking about my culture and wearing my Kurdish clothes rather than back in Iran. 4 months into my adventure in the US, I was ready to venture outside the comfort of my local Iranian community, but I didn't know where or how to start. Luckily, a friend connected me to One to World. When I signed up, I was expecting to learn about American culture and meet locals, which I did, but I never expected to present about my life and culture in American schools. I'm so glad to have received that email from One to World because that totally enhanced my experience in this beautiful country. That's when I became a global guide. For those of you who don't know, a global guide is an international student who One to World trains to teach youth in the New York City area schools about cultures and countries throughout interactive lessons. We aim to engage and inspire students by sharing our own stories and lived experiences from places that are most often very unfamiliar to them. We basically bring the world to their classroom, and today I'm bringing the world to you. I always start my presentation with a sentence: the garden is more beautiful with different flowers. The world is a more beautiful place when you can see all of our cultural coming together. I invite everyone to now stand up and join me in a Kurdish traditional dance.
جواهري وفق محمد هو صاروخان هو دايكي بجي سماس هو بابيو سنا جواهري بجي ماريا ما سوريا الرحماني بو ديفيد بركم مكي كيوان جواهري هو كيوان جواهري بجي ماريا مريوة أني يا مريوة أني خوم مريوة أني يا تسيرة أني خوم مشيتي تو من أربنا شنيزة أني خوم مشيتي تو بغوسيسة أني بغوسيسة أني هاي هاي وجدت زيزي بوهن من محمد بجي ماريا وعصر شاي مني بجي سواس
Thank you. I would like to close out this practice by congratulating Global Classroom and One to World for helping children become more accepting of other countries and creating more empathic society for all of us. Now, please join me in welcoming one of our wonderful students, Lux, who I have had the privilege to meet in one of my lessons and who inspired me every day to think out of the box. Everyone, please give applause for Lux.
Wong. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lux. I'm 12 years old, and I'm in 7th grade. I got to be a part of Global Classroom for the New York Edge after-school program at Queens Gateway to Health Sciences. I started the program last year in 6th grade, all the way up until I had to move to a new school a couple months ago. But I don't have anything like Global Classroom in my new school, and I really miss it. Before I start, I want to say hi to Yasin. Thank you for being a global guide and for teaching us that dance. I'm not sure I got all the moves right, but I definitely had fun trying. When I think about Global Classroom, the first word that comes to my mind is fun. And I know a lot of students say that about things, but this was actually fun, like the kind you don't want to miss out on. I remember one time, my mom tried to pick me up early, and I asked if she could please wait until Global Classroom was over. And she agreed since she wants me to learn new languages. I still thank her for that. I love getting to interact with people from different countries. We didn't just read about places. We met real people from all over the world, like Uzbekistan, Taiwan, and Iran. I especially love the games because they got us out of our seats. My favorite was a game we played with Sadamir from Uzbekistan, where we had to bend down and pick up a hat with our mouths. It sounds easy, but it was actually really hard, and also really funny to watch everyone try. Just like the dance Yasin taught us. It was one of those moments where you're learning something new, but you're just laughing and having a good time together. One thing that really stayed with me was learning how to say and write my name in Korean. It made me respect how difficult it can be to learn a new language and how important it is to be patient with people who are trying. Global Classroom helped my classmates and me grow. It helped us communicate better and be more open with each other. In my class, we had people from different backgrounds, and learning about those cultures had helped us connect in a new way. It has made me so much more curious about the world. One day, I want to travel to Spain, Portugal, Japan, Argentina. Honestly, I want to go everywhere. When I moved to a new school, I realized how much this program had helped me. It's made it so much easier to talk to new people and feel more comfortable. Not everyone gets that kind of experience, and I really noticed the difference. If I could tell every school one thing, it's this. Global Classroom helps students feel like they belong. It brings people together, helps us understand each other, and makes it easier to connect, even if we come from different places. Global Classroom didn't just teach me about the world. It helped me feel like I belong in it. And I think every student deserves that. Kamsahamnida. Thank you.
All right. Can you hear me? All right, thank you. Thank you, Lukes, for sharing your global experience, and thank you, Yasin, for that. That was awesome. I want to thank everyone who made a bid, or we still have, we extended it. No, we closed it, I'm sorry. So we want to thank everyone who made a bid on the silent auction. I hope you got what you want. I was going for the Greek vacation. I don't think I got it. So for everyone who made a bid and who got a prize, congratulations. If you have any questions about the prize that you won, the registration table outside, as soon as you walk out, you can stop by their table and they can help you out. So as you've heard throughout this evening, tonight we're celebrating the power for choosing connection and curiosity over division and fear, and how critical this is in our now current situation. One to World creates connection and fosters curiosity in so many ways. A Thanksgiving meal shared between a local host and international students, a guided tour from our resident architecture expert, William, through New York's signature new neighborhoods, or a workshop where young people like Luke's have the world opened up to them. None of that work would be possible without each and every one in this room. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. I know you have done so much already, but I'm going to ask for your kindness once more. It is my hope that you will show your support one more time by making a donation this evening to One to World. Instructions are going to come up on the screen behind me, as well as they're on the back of your menu card. So to make a pledge, you can visit onetoworld.org dinner 2026 and click on Make a Donation. You can also complete a pledge card, which is on your table. If you are using one of the pledge cards, you can just write your name and the amount that you're pledging and just hold it up. And one of our staff, who are positioned all over the room, so maybe we can have our house lights up and everyone can see the staff. They're all over the room. We'll come and collect it from you. So, I think you know where I'm going with this. One to World is a nonprofit that is very dear to me, it's very dear to the staff, it's very dear to all of you as you are sitting here today. So, I am asking for your help. I am asking for your donations and for your gifts to keep One to World alive and active, and making sure that we can still promote the same messaging that we did in 1977 when this awesome organization came up. So we're going to start our live ask. If anyone is willing to make a donation of $10,000. So let me start a little bit and tell you what $10,000 does. You have heard from Luke's today. $10,000 will provide funding for One to World for an entire year of Global Classroom to New York public schools that cannot afford it. We go to different private schools and charter schools, and we also work with New York public schools. But this amount that we have of $10,000 will make sure that an entire year of Global Classroom is funded to allow students like Luke's to experience the world. So who in the room is willing to put up their hands for $10,000? One whole year. We got one. Woo! All right. I know you guys can do this. I know we can do this. One more school. We need one more school funded for the whole year. One more $10,000 bid. And we can fund an entire school for Global Classroom. Who's with us? There we go. We got a second one. Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful. Now, how about 5,000? Let me tell you what 5,000 does. So 5,000 will support the community visits that we coordinate throughout the year. Community visits are vital to the enrichment of the international students and Fulbright grantees that come to America. They want to learn about America. They want to hear about the programs, the culture, your favorite mall, your favorite restaurant. They want to do that, but they cannot go to these community visits unless we provide those logistics and make sure that it happens. So, for $5,000, you can provide funding to students that are going to have homestays, dinner diplomats, which is a program that Chelsea was part of, where students get to go and sit in people's homes for Thanksgiving dinners. So, with $5,000, who here would want to fund those crucial programs of global exchange? $5,000. There we go. We got one right there, right front. All right. We're looking for a second one. We got a second one right there, Roman. Very nice. We got a third. Thank you so much. How about one more community visit? One more community visit. That's it. One more. Get to go to a small town and experience exactly how Americans live, exactly what it means to be, crucially, American ambassador, I would say. One more. Who here? Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. All right. We'll keep going. We'll keep going. We'll keep going all night. I just want to ask for your money all night. I'm just kidding. So, who's in for 2,500? So 2,500 supports the training of our global guides. So you have met Yasin. Yasin is part of a very big contingent of global guides that are part of this room. I myself was a global guide. I started here in 2008 as a global guide. And I was talking about Kenya and the games that we played and the dances that we had and the food that we were serving. So 2,500 supports the training of all the global guides, international students and Fulbrighters that share their cultures. Global guides like Yasin, Stephen, I know Sheriar has done. I know that Leah has done a global classroom. I know Marisa has done one as well. So for 2,500, you get to help us train the global guides, provide workshops, because these workshops are customized and curriculum-based for our schools. So with 2,500, who here will support for 2,500? 2,500, there we go, we got one. Any more? 2,500. 2,500 will get Fulbrighters trained and ready to go into classrooms to teach about their culture. 2,500 will get the world to the classrooms. Who wants to support getting the world to the classrooms? One more. We need one more. There we go. We got one more. All right, so 1,000. Help support our many ways that One to World engages with international students, scholars in American life. Be a driving force behind creating these personal relationships. Each person who participates in One to World programs, be it American, Iranian, New Zealander, Belizean, all of them are from from almost 140 different countries that One to World represents. So with $1,000, you are providing our staff the ability to make sure that international exchange is still something that we can be all proud of. So for $1,000, how many people here for $1,000? All right, we got one there. We got two, three, perfect, four. We got five in the back. There we go. We got six, seven. Great. Great. 8. Yes. 9. We got there. Yes. Absolutely. Let's make it a full 10. How about a 10? Let's get 10. Why not 10? Who else is going to give us? Let's round it up to 10. We need one more to make it 10. Oh, there we go. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. All right. $500. Let's go with 500. Now let's go with 500. They've got one in the back. 500. Remember how you can make the world a better place, make a difference? $500 will do that. 500. Who else says 500? Who can do 500? 500. 500. 500. 500. We got another one. Yes. Come on. We got this. 500. That's $1,000 so far. Let's make it 2,000. So we get two more for 500. Two more for 500. Let's make it 2,000. I promise I won't go to 3,000. Let's make it 2,000, then I'll stop. I swear. 500. We need two more 500s. Who's going to give 500? Waiting on going. Oh, we got one. There you go. You want to do two? We got it to 2,000. There we go. Thank you. And lastly, any support that you give us helps. So we're going to keep going. How about 250? Just put your hands up for 250. 250. There we go. We got two over there. 250s. Any 250s in the house? There we go. One in the front here. Yeah, and please raise your hands. We got 250 in the back. Yes. Any more 250s? 250s. I don't know how many those were, but I'm sure that was awesome. We can still keep going to round it off to the nearest 250. What's the nearest 250? I don't know. It's one more 250. Who can give me one more 250? One more 250? Yes. Awesome. All right, $100. Let's do $100. I told you I was going to stop, but I'm not. $100. Let's do this. $100. Who's going to do $100? $100. There we go. We got one there. We got two. Think we can reach $1,000 with the hundreds? We got hundreds. Any hundreds? All right. We got three in the back. We're doing well. 4. Yes. Another $100. Another $100. That's 400. There we go. Yes. 400. Let's make it 5. 500. There we go. 500. Yes. Thank you. $50. No? Well, thank you so much, everybody, for your generosity. This is fantastic. You're supporting us for a very, very crucial cause. I'm very grateful to you. I really appreciate it. If you need any help, please flag one of the staff that are walking around. They'll give you instructions and guidance on how to help. And if you have any questions, as you leave tonight, you can reach out to the registration table and they'll help out. So thank you so much. I am now proud and very pleased to introduce to you our final award presenter of the evening, Madison Nguyen, an international student from Vietnam.
Hello? Oh, sorry. Thank you, Deepesh. And thank you, everyone, for your generosity, for your time, for engaging in this activity. I am beyond excited to be here with you all tonight. It is a great honor to share the stage with so many wonderful leaders here tonight. So I was given the name Nguyen Thanh, which means blue moon. It's a whole other story. You'll catch me later if you want to hear it. But I choose to go by Madison. And I'm a Vietnamese international student with a Master of Arts degree in International Education from NYU Steinhardt, and I'm about to start my Master of Education degree in Media, Culture, and Society at Teachers College. Thank you. So, as you may have heard, the one thing about me is I really like to study. I believe in education, and I am driven by curiosity. As an international student, my relationship with New York City began when I was a 12-year-old, and I came to New York City during a summer camp, and I was so in love with it, absolutely in love. After I came home from New York and my parents heard about how much I love it, they immediately signed me up for this high school in Long Island, where I lived with Greek and Colombian host family. And after that, I loved it so much I decided to stay for college. And then I graduate with a double bachelor in media studies and food studies and a minor in Hispanic studies. And yes, I warned you, I like to study. So upon graduation, I was really hopeful to make a difference, honestly. So I returned home to Vietnam, and I worked at a transnational education program where I led study abroad readiness initiatives to support both inbound and outbound international students. And this experience, supporting students who are adjusting to their host cities and cultures, alongside observing my own re-entry cultural shock, led me to my aha moment, which is that I enjoy helping people bridging the gap in understanding each other's culture. And so with that, I decided to do what? Come back to New York. Yes, and here I am. And during this time at NYU, I also wore different hats. I led academic initiatives to enhance the international student experience, while simultaneously developing and leading faculty training series that advocated for inclusive pedagogical approaches inside the classroom. And now I sound like I know myself inside out. You probably think that. Incorrect. My experience with One2World, specifically Global Classroom, had allowed me an opportunity to reflect on why I am the way that I am. And it is true, the saying that you don't really understand anything until you can explain it to a 5-year-old. And that includes understanding yourself, your background, and your culture. Becoming a global guide didn't just help me personally, but also professionally. Throughout this entire time, I've also been working with another nonprofit in New York City, and my work there involves supporting multilingual and multicultural young children. But my experience has only been limited at the higher education level. So being a global guide actually allowed me to immerse myself into the classroom, to observe what actually happens inside the space, and what happens inside a child's mind during the knowledge exchange process, which has honestly been an eye-opening experience this far. And so the Global Guide experience equipped me with the necessary skills to better provide resources and training for children and their parents and their communities, and it also actually helped guided me through the process of writing my first children's book about Vietnamese culture through food. And I only very recently signed with a publisher, so thank you. And most importantly, this global guide experience had shed light on the process of teaching others how can we treat our friends who might be different from us. And so with that, based on my personal and professional experience or whatever, I believe that the sooner we expose our children to intercultural exchange, the better. When you meet people from other cultures, you learn more about them and you learn more about yourself. And international exchange drives us to grow more empathetic, and that is what One to World is about. Being an international student throughout so many different phases of my life, and now being able to work in intercultural education and exchange has taught me that I don't want to be just an expert in my field, but I also want to be on the ground and be a mentor to other international students around the globe and to guide them through this incredibly challenging yet very rewarding experience. And there's nobody who could understand and personify this better than our final honoree of the night, William Gertz. Bill is one of the greatest leaders in the field of intercultural exchange and international education. He is currently the chairman of AIFS, the American Institute for Foreign Study, whose mission is bringing the world together, and which serves an amazing 40,000 participants worldwide each year. He joined AIFS in 1985 and served as CEO between 2005 and 2018. Bill, like me, was always driven by curiosity. So his first international experience was actually back in 1973. And when he was a 21-year-old with no real plan for the future, he went to Europe on a whim. And he spent months backpacking around Amsterdam, Paris, London, Barcelona, Lisbon, just talking to people and soaking up the culture and history like a sponge. He knew his life was never going to be the same. And sure enough, he spent the last 50 years not just traveling the world himself, but making it possible for countless others to do the same. Bill is always driven to do more impact, more inclusion, and open the door for more people to the life-changing opportunity of studying abroad. One of the ways that he has done so is by taking real action to promote diversity in this field. In 2010, Bill organized the Diversity in International Education workshop in Washington, D.C., bringing together educators and advisors to share ideas and create actionable plans to increase diversity in the study abroad program. In 2017, he created the Fearless Global Citizen Campaign, a movement that empowers youth to travel and embrace cultural diversity. In addition to his role as AIFS chairman, Bill also serves as a trustee of the AIFS Foundation, as well as the Cyril Taylor Charitable Foundation, which supports international opportunities for underserved students around the globe, including by supporting One to World's global classroom program. In 2019, Bill's leadership and achievement earned him the Institute of International Education's Centennial Medal, which honors individuals who have made outstanding contribution to international education. Bill is also a published poet. His second book of poetry was just released. He is also an avid art collector, an ardent music fan, an adventurous cook, and a very proud and loving husband, father, and grandfather. To speak to Bill is to feel his passion for international education, for travel, for people, for life. He's an inspiration for so many, and it is my great pleasure to present the One to World Fulbright Award for Transformative Cultural Exchange to William Gertz.
Hey, folks, for $5,000, I'll only speak for 5 minutes. So ooh, those lights are bright up there. I am going to speak very briefly. Don't let my accent fool you. I'm from Brooklyn. Yeah, Lamont. I'm from Brooklyn before it was a brand, when you could actually afford to live there. So I know it very well. I have so many people to thank. First of all, my wife Evelyn of 52 years. My Deepesh for his friendship over the past few years, and really the great work that this organization does. And also to my colleagues, my fantastic colleagues at AIFS, all of whom have been with me for 20+ years. We're an organization that people stay and they love the work that they do. And I'm very happy to have been there for 41 years now. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. I'm going to make it brief and then have a few words about where we are as a nation and where we are as a field. My story, which I tell over and over again, I'm actually sick of that International Student Identity Card with my picture from 1973. My story began, really, my professional life began when I went to Europe for the first time in 1973. And I went on a whim. I did not study abroad. I couldn't afford it. I did not travel abroad. I was living in a little bubble in New York, really not going out the gate in Seagate where I grew up. But I went to Europe in the summer of 1973, and I'd like to say that I went away a boy and I came back a man, because I was pretty parochial living in my little town, and what I saw when I traveled was just changed my life. And the first day I went over there, I remember I flew youth fare from New York to Amsterdam. I arrived, in the morning. I took an overnight, and I just started running, from the airport to Central Station in Amsterdam to all the vending machines. They were like little vending machines with French fries in them. It was very, very strange, like the automat. I don't know if any of you remember the automat, but I do. There you go. There's a person. So I couldn't believe it, that there was so much to learn. And I spent a few months learning everything I could, really trying everything, sleeping in Vondel Park in Amsterdam, traveling through Paris. I had a rail pass for $260 at the time, and you could go everywhere. And I came back changed. And the next year, Evelyn and I went back with a couple of friends. We stayed in Europe for a few months. We lived in a house in Le Bourget de Lac in eastern France, where we spoke no French. We had no money. I mean, it was the times, I think. And we just, it was an amazing experience. And that's when I decided that I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I want other people to have the experience that I had. And I really think that I've been able to. And I'm very proud of the fact that in my lifetime, in the 20 years that I've been a leader at AIFS, over 1 million students have studied abroad and traveled abroad. So that is, and now we as a company are in the position of giving back, and we support 32 charities through the Cyril Taylor Charitable Foundation. including One to World and a lot of different organizations, Teens of Color Abroad, and a few others, people I see in the room. And that is something I'm really proud of and something I really love to do. I love to give money away, which is kind of funny. Very popular at cocktail parties, I found. So that kind of is my story. I ended up at CIEE first, then I went to AIFS, where I've been chairman now since my mentor and the founder of AIFS, Sir Cyril Taylor, died in 2018. I've been in the global leader of AIFS. Fascinating job. We get to travel all over the world, and we get to make a difference. We change people, and it's not always through the programs that we run. We run many, many programs, many study abroad programs around the world, but we change people because we change their attitudes, and we don't change everyone. You know, if 10 people go abroad, 2 are going to come back changed, 8 are going to come back, you know, it was fun, but it didn't change my life. So it doesn't change everybody's life, but it changes a lot of people's lives. So I think that's the key to doing what we do, is changing people's lives, giving them the opportunity to see what's out there, and then let them decide for themselves what they want to do. So it's not the subjects they study abroad in particular. It's really the experiences they have and the friendships that they form over so many years. And it's something that it's even hard to explain when people come back, but we have something in common. And when I come back from a trip, I'm the person who wants to show you my photos, and nobody wants to see my photos, but I'm very happy to show them. I do want to say we are in difficult times as Deepesh, and we touched on it a little bit. And it's true. We can't put our heads in the sand. We know what's going on. We don't have to say it every minute of every day and on every social media platform what this person did is wrong or it's undemocratic or whatever. But we have to be aware of it. We definitely have to be aware of it. And we have to put our best foot forward, and we have to lead the charge, and we have to actually make sure that our voices are heard in Congress, especially in Congress, I would say the most important, and also in the ballot box when we go to vote. It's important that positions are made. So please do those things. I know it gets repetitious at times, these action alerts that come out, and we send them out all the time. The Alliance sends them out all the time. NAFSA, all the organizations that we work with send them on. But it takes 5 minutes, and it does really make a difference. So I just say, you know, in conclusion, and that's where you clap, you know, that's like the old Bill Clinton speech. I don't know if anybody remembers that speech. When he said, in conclusion, everybody started cheering. So, but he spoke for 2 hours, and I've spoken for 5 minutes. But I do want to say, I just want to thank everyone for their deep commitment to what we do. And you know, we've been through a lot. I mean, in my 50 years now in this field, I've been through a lot. And you know, we've had everything from 2 airplane crashes, Pan Am 101, TWA, I forgot the 400 where we lost students, and also through wars, Iraqi wars all over the place, and 9/11 and a whole bunch of other things. But we've come back strong. I think we're resilient, and I think we will continue to be resilient because events like this, where we get together and really tell the stories. And everyone's story is so different. You know, it's amazing hearing the 2 women who spoke before me with big heels and stuff, which I would like to have. Not the dress, the heels. But I think we are accomplished in many, many different ways. There's many ways there's many ways and many things in our field to get involved in. So I just would say, as chairman of AIFS would say, and my mentor, Sir Cyril Taylor, onward and upward, everyone. Thank you very much.
All right, 25 bucks? 25 bucks, anyone? Just kidding. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. I just want to once again thank all of tonight's presenters and honorees. Your stories are a testament to the transformational work that One to World does every single day. I also want to thank all the auction winners and all the people who have pledged to donate tonight. It's very important work that we do, and I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad for your support and for your love. If you've not made a donation, you can still do it on the QR code behind the menu card. You can also go to onetoworld.org/dinner2026 and click on Make a Donation. On those same cards, if you're willing to host a student for Thanksgiving dinner or just a dinner in general, they really love it. The hosts really love it. I've been a host. I've hosted, I think, 3 years running. It's a very fabulous experience. So please fill out those host cards and we'll get in touch with you soon. As we're drawing an end to this night, we want to get started on something that's a major milestone for us. One to World will be celebrating its 50th anniversary in 2027. What started as an idea in 1977 by a group of foreign student advisors has transformed to a global force and transformed the lives of thousands of individuals. Next year, One to World will be commemorating this epic journey through a series of events which will be announced soon. You're all invited to be part of this celebration, and I can't wait to see what the next 50 years will bring for this important organization. Now, before you go, I know you filled out some cards for the door prize. And so, now for the door prize. This is for a case of eco-friendly, biodynamic French wine donated by former honoree Kevin Parker and Chateau Marie. Our only rule is that you have to be present to win. So if I draw a name and the person's not here, too bad. So let me go through the piece of paper. I bet a lot of you put multiple ones as well. I would have done that if I were you. Oh, sorry. That might be the winner. It's gone back in, sorry. Okay, I got one. Let's see. Paulette Aguirre. Congratulations. Just make yourself known to one of our staff, and then they'll take down some delivery information from you. Thank you, everybody. On your way out tonight, please be sure to pick up a special item donated by our friends at Performance Beauty Group. Thank you for being here tonight. It means a lot to me, means a lot to the staff, means a lot to the students, and means a lot to all of us. I hope you will stay connected with One to World, and we look forward to seeing you again next year at our 50th anniversary. Good night, stay safe, stay cool.